Good evening, I'm Sarah Thomas.
And I'm Ken Goyette. Here's what's coming up next on Panthervision.
I think it's back off me now. You just touch my person, back the off me.
A heated exchange on campus. The issue of concealed carry has students and faculty on edge. Could it become a reality for UW schools?
And $53 million and 4 years later, a new building on campus is now open for business. We'll show you what's going on inside.
Plus,
You like some free pens?
you've seen him around campus, rain or shine. The message that UWM's pen guy is handing out. All that and more coming up on Panthervision.
From the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, this is UWM Panthervision. Weekly newscast reported, written, and produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And now, the news.
Good evening. Debate over concealed carry on campus is heating up.
Passion from both sides of the issue spilled onto Spates Plaza last week.
One guy has one gun on a campus, the police will stop him. If, however, 25% have them, like these children, then every kid on this school can die in a day. Is that right or not, America? Is that right or not? I think it's up, and back off me now. You just touch my person, back the up off me.
At issue is legislation proposed by Republican state lawmakers that would remove the ability of universities to ban concealed carry in campus buildings. Police had to respond to a pro-carry rally organized by Young Americans for Liberty. Someone called police saying they thought one of the students had a gun in a backpack.
I think maybe there's a, what do you think, Kyle? AK-47, AR-15 in there?
Concealed carry is one of the biggest issues on campus right now.
Panthervision's Amber Bach tells us more about the rally and the motions from both sides.
My right to be safe trumps your right to feel safe.
Some see a gun-free classroom as a safe haven, while others feel vulnerable without a firearm at hand.
Right now we're doing what we like to call criminals for gun-free zones, and we thought it was a clever way to show the fact that a lot of these mass shootings that have taken place have been in gun-free zones, and the criminals aren't going to care what signs are currently on the door, whether it's no guns allowed or whether it does allow guns.
Being a student and not knowing if they have a gun or not, I would prefer to default to them not having a gun.
A gun in a school building is not the proper place for a gun, period.
I would feel scared. Scared to go into a classroom where I wouldn't know what to expect. An argument can become heated. Classes can touch upon hot topic issues like race, like gender, sexuality, and the idea that an argument that you have in class could become something else is, I think, a reality.
Last week, UWM officials met with Republican state senators to voice their opposition to the Campus Carry Act.
Here on campus and in the surrounding neighborhoods, assaults on individuals has gone down by double digits. So why would adding weapons into the mix be helpful?
I think you're actually more safe if there are more people who do have concealed weapons that are responsible and are law-abiding than nobody having a gun and then a crazed madman comes in and starts shooting people with nobody around to defend you or yourself.
Good debate, man. I'll agree to disagree with you, but good debate.
In Milwaukee, I'm Amber Bach for Panthervision.
UWM's chancellor is making his views known about the concealed carry issue. In an email to all students and employees, Mark Monet says he opposes the legislation. Monet says, quote, "We are all concerned about the adverse impact of this proposed legislation on the environments for our students, faculty, and staff." Monet says he and others are working to get the authors of the bill to come to campus and talk about the issue.
The Student Association Safety Committee is responding in a similar fashion. The committee met with Police Chief Joseph Lemire to talk about the issue. Committee members discussed drafting a student association bill that would ban concealed weapons on campus. They are also going to urge state lawmakers to not pass the Campus Carry Act. Any on-campus legislation would still need to be approved by the full student association.
UWM police are investigating a threat that was posted to the UW Milwaukee Uncovered Facebook page. The poster threatened to bring a knife to class, saying that they wanted to kill people. An alum saw the post and reported it to campus police. University officials say they are taking the threat seriously, but students should not be overly concerned. Police are still attempting to identify the commenter. The threat is particularly concerning in light of the recent mass killings in Oregon.
8 students and a professor were gunned down at Umpqua Community College earlier this month. The gunman walked into a classroom and shot his English professor at point-blank range. He then shot and killed 8 students before killing himself. The mass shooting is prompting more discussion about active shooter preparedness at UWM. Helen Koth joins us with that part of the story. Helen?
Thanks, Kenan. In 2013, UWM appointed a working group to examine active shooter preparedness on campus. The working group came after a year-long Panthervision investigation. Among the group's recommendations, increased training for students and employees. Police Chief Joseph Lemire says they've implemented a new training program.
In 2014, we trained about 1,700 people on campus. We trained about another 800 this year. We've worked it into employee orientation, so new people coming on campus for jobs. We did about 210 people this year, so people coming on. And then now we're working with Residence Life, and we're kind of doing a combination of looking at doing a training for about 4,000 students at one time, so we can get a good bulk of them, but then going forward, we're going to break it down into smaller groups.
Another recommendation was to implement training into freshman orientation. Vice Chancellor Robin Van Harpen says the university does not show the current Run, Hide, Fight training video at orientation, but they do talk about active shooter preparedness.
Student orientation is not the best place to put on the full training. But because of our freshman residency requirement, we do have a large percentage of our undergraduate students do come through the residence halls, and so that probably is a pretty good proxy for the new student orientation.
So we have the conversation with students and parents that say, God forbid this should happen, and it probably won't happen. But if it does, we want you to at least have thought about it once. What would you do? Where would you go? Be aware when you're on campus.
The working group has also finalized the recommendation to improve the union's security camera system, saying it will be running this week. The university has also switched its emergency text alert system to an opt-out program, increasing participation from about 8,000 to 30,000. Vice Chancellor Van Harpen says the working group will continue to develop these recommendations indefinitely. Back to you, Sarah and Kenan.
Thanks, Helen. MAT has its own way of readying students for an active shooter situation.
Unlike UWM, they hold lockdown drills.
MATC's Greg Klemp has more.
Less than 2 weeks before an active shooter in Oregon took the lives of 9 people, MATC conducted their own active shooter lockdown drills.
In September, we conducted lockdown drills at all 4 of our campuses, and that was really a chance for students to learn the procedures that we expect them to follow during our drills.
In addition to on-campus lockdown drills, MATC Public Safety hosts active shooter workshops for students and staff.
It really is a chance for students and faculty, anyone in the MATC community, to participate in actual active shooter training.
The majority of students I spoke with found the lockdown drills beneficial.
It actually helps students to be calm instead of everyone just like scattering and trying to run.
In spite of the lockdown drills and workshops, some students believe that the MATC community is unprepared for an active shooter.
I'm not entirely sure they have the proper, I would say training even, to handle any form of extreme situation that may or may not occur.
Whether or not you feel that the drills and workshops are enough preparation, Public Safety wants you to know what you should do in the event of a gunman on campus.
You have to be able to recognize the situation and take some action, and that's based on options that we provide. Either for active shooter situations, it would be to run, hide, or defend, and you have to decide what's best for you.
For Panthervision, I'm Greg Clapp.
As we told you in previous newscasts, the UWM working group decided against lockdown drills. Among the reasons is the complexity of drilling in multiple buildings in an urban campus environment.
Although he's been on the job for half a year, he now holds the official title. Mark Monet has been inaugurated at UWM's 9th chancellor. Delegates from universities around the country joined UW system leaders in the Zalazo Center to commemorate the occasion. Monet is taking office amid some of the deepest budget cuts in UWM history. He says the biggest difference between jobs is the money in the university's pocket.
That's kind of the 2 periods. Interim, good budget. As chancellor, we've got a tough budget. So that's the world that we're in. And frankly, looking forward, we're going to have to continue to really navigate the difficult environment. But I'm confident we'll do this well and inclusively.
Monet also emphasized student success through quality education and career preparation.
UW-Madison is being allowed to increase non-resident enrollment. The Board of Regents approved the university's proposal to waive a cap on how many non-residents the university can enroll. In exchange, Madison will agree to guarantee a certain percentage of seats to state residents. Non-residents pay nearly 3 times more in tuition than residents.
With the $250 million budget cuts to the UW system, UWM has had to reevaluate how funds are distributed. The international student population is also suffering from the deficit. Emily Talapa has a story.
The budget cuts are affecting everyone, from staff to students. Even the international students are feeling the pressure from loss of funds. Starting this year, UWM's international students were required to pay an extra $100 per semester. The fee was simply labeled International Student Service Fee. Pamela Gabriel, a student from the Philippines, reacted to the news.
I would think it's for the different get-togethers and events they hold for international students.
Jennifer Grindelwald, Director of International Students, explained the real purpose of the funds.
We needed to charge the fee because we needed the funds to pay for staff to serve the students because of budget cuts.
However, Pamela expressed her thoughts on the $100.
I mean, they're there when I need them, but I'm going to say that I don't always go to the event, so I'm not sure I'm getting the full use of what I'm paying.
And what the students are paying is a hefty amount, especially if they're not benefiting from the service.
It's $200 a year. That's a lot of money to a student, and we recognize that.
Hopefully the UW administration will not raise the funds in the near future, as $200 a year is a lot of money for those students. In Milwaukee, I'm Emily Talapa for Panthervision.
Other UW system universities have also implemented the additional international student fee.
Ready or not, the presidential campaign season is upon us. Both the Democratic and Republican parties will be holding debates in Wisconsin. The Republican debate is scheduled for November 3rd at the Milwaukee Theater, and the Democratic debate will be held in Wisconsin on February 11th. The party has not yet announced a venue.
One candidate is already making her presence known on campus. Hillary Clinton is the first Democratic candidate to visit Milwaukee, and as Rachel Meidel reports, she talked about everything from tuition to child care.
Campaign already in full swing. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton stopped at UWM. Senator Lena Taylor, a former Panther, showed her support.
I was so excited that Hillary Clinton made her first stop at UWM. Go Panthers! Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just a little excited.
Clinton stayed on task, largely speaking on student issues.
How many of you here have student debt already? I kind of expected that. I have a plan that will enable any person to go to a 4-year public college or university and not have to borrow a dime to pay for tuition.
Some students have to run through or after even larger obstacles.
I'm still trying to find, like a job first, then I can be eligible for, childcare from that state.
Another focus of Clinton's was childcare.
I'm a single mom, and, childcare is a problem for me. Sometimes I have to take my son to class with me, and that's really, really hard.
There's still a long trail ahead of Clinton, but the topic she spoke about encourages her fans at UWM.
In Milwaukee, I'm Rachel Meidel for Panthervision.
Coming up next on Panthervision, an inside look at UWM's newest building.
And later, would you like some free pens? All that and more when Panthervision continues.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
first new UWM academic building in nearly 20 years is now open.
It took 2 years of construction and $80 million, but the Kenwood Interdisciplinary Research Complex opened its doors to the public at the beginning of October. Panthervision's Emily Zanto gives us a tour of the new building.
UW-Milwaukee's new Kenwood Interdisciplinary Complex has redefined the word interdisciplinary.
The design of this building not only involved the architects and the actual construction engineers, but it also involved the faculty and staff on this campus.
UWM physics professor Maria Gajordiska was one of the faculty involved in the planning of the complex.
Well, in the old physics building, I built this lab trying to fit in existing space, and the space was really not appropriate. We even had water coming down our walls.
The new complex allows students and professors to conduct research without these problems.
We've actually turned this lab from my faculty lab and a lab in the physics department to a shared facility for the university. So what this means is that we will be able to open this lab to many more students that we were able to do before.
Physics professor Prasenjit Gupsarama is even working with a student outside UW-Milwaukee.
Suhas is actually a high school student. He's a student from Whitefish Bay, and he's doing a little project here. He's very interested in learning what physicists do in the lab.
From the planning to the research conduction, the Kenwood Interdisciplinary Research Complex continues to encourage collaboration between students and faculty in and outside of UW-Milwaukee. For Panthervision, I'm Emily Zanto.
The KIRC is up for a Silver Rating Award from the group Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. The LEED recognizes buildings for renewable clean energy and occupant health.
A federal jury is ordering Apple to pay $234 million for infringing on a UW-Madison patent. The Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation sued Apple last year, accusing the company of using patented technology without its permission in iPhones and iPads. Apple could appeal. UW-Madison has filed a separate lawsuit against Apple for using the same patented technology in its iPhone 6 and iPad Pro products.
Some big honors for 2 UWM teachers. Lecturer Bart Adrian is receiving a Lifetime Achievement Emmy from the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Adrian was inducted into the Academy's Silver Circle, which honors those who have made significant contributions to local television. Adrian spent 3 decades as a meteorologist at WITI and now teaches math and atmospheric sciences at UWM.
And the founder of UWM Panthervision is also being honored. Senior lecturer Mark Zramsky has been inducted into the Milwaukee Press Club Hall of Fame. Zramsky created UWM Panthervision in 1998. Since then, Panthervision students have won more than 250 awards for journalistic excellence, and last year became the first student newscast ever to win a National Edward R. Murrow Award. Before coming to UWM, Zramsky was a news manager and producer at 3 Wisconsin television stations.
Not every college experience has to be 4 years long. Milwaukee Area Technical College offers many shorter programs that give students the skills to enter the workforce. Zach Anderson tells us about an MATC open house.
For students who aren't quite sure where they want to go, MATC might be able to help out with their open house series that showcases each of the different campuses here at the school.
Students would benefit almost infinitely by attending the open houses, even if they're current students, because open houses are a great way to learn what the college has to offer. Not only the different programs, but the variations of the programs, the additional diplomas and certifications that are available through an associate degree, as well as student life programs, student services programs and support services, student accommodation services, information on the MATC Promise. Almost every area is represented at the open house. So it's really an excellent opportunity for students to learn not only what there is, but what else is out there. We're taking Halloween off, and then on Saturday, the 7th of November, will be the open house event here at the downtown Milwaukee campus. And on Saturday, November 14th, there will be an open house event at the West Allis campus. All of the open houses are from 9 a.m. until noon.
For any other questions on the MATC open houses, just go to their website at matc.edu. For MATC Panthervision, I'm Zach Anderson.
Louis DeLeon joins us with a look at our weather.
Thanks. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing,
Luis?
I'm doing good. Hope you guys are staying warm. You know, every single week we are starting to see these temperatures drop. It's starting to look more like fall.
Definitely. Leaves will be falling.
Yep, yeah, that's true. As we go to your weather headlines, we are going to be seeing a cooler week this week with temperatures staying in the 50s today here in Milwaukee and much of the state. We are finally seeing that cold fall air coming in and seeing temperatures sticking around in the 40s to 50s. Although it's cold, we will likely be seeing some sort of precipitation in the middle of the week and even a few flurries, so we'll have to see about that. As for your current conditions, currently here in Milwaukee, partly cloudy skies with that temperature right now at 53 degrees and the dew point at 32. As for the rest of today, we might see some more cloud cover, but for now, partly cloudy skies with that high of 59 degrees and the low at 43. Precipitation chance at about 20%, so maybe just for any sort of stray shower or anything like that. As for your lows across the state, we are seeing temperatures ranging throughout the 40s, starting up north in Rylander with that low at 39 degrees, in the Green Bay area 43, Oshkosh 46, down here in Milwaukee 43, out in the state capital of Madison 45, across the state border, out west Eau Claire 43 and La Crosse 47. As for the highs, we're seeing temperatures ranging throughout the 50s, maybe even touching 60 in some places. Out in the state capital touching 60, La Crosse 62, out west in Eau Claire 58 degrees. Up north in Rylander seeing a chilly day at 48 degrees. Here in Milwaukee 59, but a very windy day as usual here. In the Green Bay area 56 degrees and Oshkosh 57. For tonight, things are going to calm down. Partly cloudy skies with the low of 49. And the winds coming out of the north at 10 miles per hour. As for tomorrow, high of 59 degrees, low of 40, with overcast skies. Wind's going to be picking up a little bit, not too blustery, but you got to be prepared for any of that Milwaukee wind. Winds coming out of the west at 10 to 20 miles per hour. As for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies once again, or as for Wednesday rather, with a high of 56 and a low of 40. Mostly cloudy skies with winds coming out of the west at 10 to 20 miles per hour once again. So that blustery condition still sticking around. But once again, the temperatures are rising just a little bit, but we're also seeing the temperatures falling throughout the week. As for your extended forecast, we are going to be seeing a rather quiet week with temperatures still staying on the lower side. Thursday, we have mostly cloudy skies with a high of 51, and that is the chance of precipitation throughout that day. Friday, we have plenty of cloudy skies with a high of 50, and this is the day where we might see that possible chance of flurries. Nothing too serious, but we might see some snowfall. And as we move into the weekend, seeing partly cloudy skies for both Saturday and Sunday with highs in the 50s. So we are going to be seeing a little blusteriness. We're going to be seeing some cold fall air, but as usual, you know, it's going to get colder and colder, so time to break out the winter jackets.
Definitely getting a little chillier.
It's getting cold now.
Tries, rucks, and tackles. It's a sport that you might not know much about.
Danny Brennan takes us inside the scrum when Panthervision returns.
This is where powerful ideas lead to proven results. This is where you belong.
A strong, productive workforce. Building one requires proper education and training, not just for today, but for tomorrow. That's why for the last 100 years, thousands of successful workers wearing hats like these began their careers with this one hat.
The women's soccer team takes on two big rivals.
And the rugby season heads into the playoffs. Danny Brennan joins us with sports. Danny?
The women's soccer team is still undefeated in Horizon League play. They played 2 games last week. After getting just 2 shots in the first half against Detroit, the Panthers went into attack mode. UWM had 11 shots in the second half, 2 of which were close to hitting the net. The game's only score came from Detroit's defender knocking into her own team's goal off of a shot from Milwaukee's own Sydney Sun. The Panthers then played Valparaiso at home, again with another 1-0 win. UWM scored early in the second minute with a goal from Anna Smalley. The 2 victories put UWM with a 7-0 record in the Horizon League. Women's volleyball had an important week as well. The 3 consecutive Horizon League games are having a major impact on their league standing. The Lady Panthers sit at 4-7 in the conference after winning against Youngstown State on Friday. Last Tuesday, the Panthers were at home taking on Oakland. They got shut out 3-0. Last Friday's game against Horizon League leading UW Green Bay also ended up in a 3-0 loss. The final score isn't indicative, however, of the intensity of the game, though. Each of the games were close, with the last one going into extra points. The Panthers' rugby season is coming to an end, and the playoffs are in sight. The team has had a great year so far, and as Sarah Thomas explains, it's all part of a tradition for them.
Fall is in the air.
It's kind of an underground thing.
And so is rugby. UW Milwaukee men's club rugby team has had itself quite a year and is tied for third in the conference and will be among the top 4 teams headed to the playoffs. Milwaukee's team has done well in the last several years, making it to the Sweet 16 in USA Division II National Rugby League twice in the last 5 years, consistently competing for national championships. Consistent performance is part of their history, which, as Captain Jeff Seavey puts it, has been quite a few years.
The rugby team is a part of the club at UWM, started back in the 70s. We just celebrated the 30th anniversary a few years back.
All right, 2 touches!
2 tags!
2 tags!
Seavey's dad Jerry is a first-time coach for this Milwaukee team, but has been around rugby for much of his life.
Started playing and I've been involved with the sport for over 30 years now.
The team will look to make a splash in the playoffs this year and will continue competing in the sport they love.
Just come in, keep an open mind, and just like to have fun.
In Milwaukee, I'm Sarah Thomas for Panthervision.
On Saturday, the rugby team lost to UW lacrosse, which means they'll be the 4th seed in the playoffs. Men's and women's swim teams from around the state went head-to-head this past weekend in Brown Deer. The All-Wisconsin invite was held at the Schrader Aquatic Center. The men's team won 7 out of 16 events, as Nick Halverson took 4 of them. The men's team fared even better, winning 13 out of 16 events. Head coach Kyle Clements says the men's team had a decent showing, but there are plenty of things that can be worked on. That's all for sports. Back to you, Sarah and Ken.
Thanks, Danny. A basic school supply wrapped in religion.
Would you like a free pen? Panthervision's Brianna Mercado talked to the campus icon about his commitment to spreading his beliefs.
There's prowling the UWM campus, but so is Eric Slawick, also known as the Pens Guy.
You like some free pens? Thanks, sir. You're welcome.
When we asked Religious Studies Director Dr. Beal what she thought about religious freedom on campus, she responded with,
on ancient Judaism yesterday, I asked the students if they knew the pen man, which they all did, and if they thought it was inappropriate for him to be on a state campus. And overwhelmingly, the class said no, they thought it was totally appropriate. One student said, if he's not here, where am I going to get my pens?
UWM student Simeon Robinson discussed First Amendment rights in defending Slawick's presence.
Well, we have amendments in the Constitution that do prohibit, or not prohibit, but permits those that have faith backgrounds to want to actually express their faith openly. And in the case of the Free Pen Guy, as he has now been named, the Free Pen Guy, he's just doing what is in his right to do. I mean, you can't take that right away.
Slawick has dealt with some obstacles while passing out passages in pens.
There was Steve, the angry Vietnam vet that accused me of abusing people. Not a whole lot of others.
From UW Milwaukee, I'm Brianna Mercado for Panthervision.
Thank you for tuning in for tonight's edition of Panthervision.
You can watch us on Time Warner Channel 14 and AT&T Uverse Channel 99 on Wednesday at 5:30 and Thursday at 3 o'clock, and again at 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Have a great week.